Good afternoon, thank you very much and welcome here to Mangard Plus Centre of Excellence in County Kildare for round 2 of the Lidl Ladies National Football League. It is Kildare against Longford. I'm Darren Kelly here in the commentary box, brought to you in association with Stream Sport Ireland. Delighted to be joined by ex-Kildare footballer Tommy Mulligan. Tommy, a big occasion, a big battle we're looking forward to here.
Yeah, really looking forward to today's game, Darren. I suppose two sides that are kind of differences in the league at the moment. I suppose Kildare came away with a good win against Down the last day, where Longford, unfortunately for them, lost against Louth. 2 away games for Longford in a row, probably not thanking the LGFA for them. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, as in particular where Longford got on top of Kildare last year in the Leinster Championship, or the All-Ireland Series, sorry. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, because even as you make that point, I was going to ask you about that as well. When we look at the opening day results, and Kildare beating Down 3-13 to 6 points, Longford suffering a 2-13 to 1-8 defeat to Louth. But Kildare are coming into this game as raging hot favourites, you could argue, but they came into that game in St. Conan's Park last year as raging hot favourites and got ambushed after winning the Leinster title. They got ambushed by Longford and their championship fell apart.
Yeah, their championship fell apart, and I suppose Kildare would have been, very disappointed with their displays in the All-Ireland Series last year after winning Leinster. They really expected probably to go further, but I suppose this year in particular, with Kildare having a few older players back, I suppose, like Roisin Byrne, Trina Duggan, brings big interest, I suppose, from the Kildare faithfuls, Kildare supporters, to think that they can go further than they did last year anyway. For Longford, I suppose Longford football's on the rise at the moment, or Longford ladies football's on the rise at the moment, with Longford Slashes doing so well in the Intermediate Championship. Their minor teams doing very, very well, getting into an All-Ireland final last year. So it's going to be interesting to see, and a few new faces coming from both sides as well, with Kildare's goalkeeper Anna Dunlea making her debut last week, same with Lauren Burke. So you'll see a few new faces as well coming from both sides.
And one familiar face before we run through the teams we have to mention after that. The Longford manager for that game last year in the championship was Brian Noonan, and today he resigned as Longford manager at the end of the season, and today he's part of the Kildare backroom team.
Yeah, so there's big familiar faces there, I suppose, and I think they did a charitable kind of organisation for one of the manager's son as well there. Both sides did, so there is a bit of a connection there. It's going to be interesting to see. He has the insight into Longford's team, but again, they'll probably have a point to prove for themselves. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Kildare will take to the pitch.
What we'll do is we'll run through the two teams there now as we're getting very, very close to throw in, and you can see there as the Kildare team comes up, a couple of changes from the 1 to 15 that were announced, but then one main change is that Larry Gilbert comes into the starting team, replacing Claire Sullivan. The Kildare team in full. In goal number 1, Anna Dunlea. Full back line of 2, Lauren Burke. 3 is Leisha Lenihan, and 4 is Larry Gilbert. The half back line were number 30, Trina Duggan. Centre back number 6 is Ruth Sargent. They could swap, and 7 is Sarah Munley. In midfield were number 8, the captain Grace Clifford. 9 is Eva Radigan. The half forward line, 10 Hazel McLaughlin, 11 Roisin Byrne, and number 24 is Holly Tyrrell. And the inside line, 13 Ellen Dowling, 14 Nessa Dooley, and 15 Lara Kern. Tommy, I'll get your thoughts on that in a minute, because we look like we're getting ready for throw-in. The Kildare manager is Diana O'Hora, so I'll quickly run through the Longford team. We might be starting a minute or two before the 2 o'clock throw-in. So let's look at the Longford team. And they're 1 to 15 lines out, as in the programme. 2 changes from the team. Ruth Jones and Emma Doris coming into the side, replacing Grace Kenny and the captain, Leanne Keegan. The team in full: number 1, Ruth Jones. 2, Grace Kenny. 3, Emily Riley. And 4 is Emma Doris. The half-back line were number 5, Hannah Glennon. Centre-back number 6, Emer O'Brien. And 7 is Quiva McCormack. In midfield were number 8, Grace Shannon. Partner number 9, Quiva Lohan. The half-forward line, 10, Caitlin McKeown. 11, Clodagh Lohan. And 12 is Shauna Hagan. And the inside line, top of the right, number 13, Lauren Maguire. Full forward, number 14, Camille Burke, and top of the left were number 15, Ciara Healy, and their new manager is Alan Mullen. Tommy, just as the teams are getting ready before throwing, I suppose the question I did want to ask you, Trina Duggan, I expect her probably to go to centre back as well, and if she does, it could be a very, very intriguing battle with, I think, Clodagh Lohan, who scored 2-2 against Kildare in last year's championship.
Yeah, Clodagh's an excellent forward. Last week, I suppose, they actually kept to their they actually moved Ruth Sargent into centre half back. Trina Duggan's usually plays her trade out in the wing. And also an interesting battle as well for both sides is the new full back for Longford, Emily Riley, is going up against Nessa Dooley, which is going to be an interesting one because Nessa caused a lot of problems for Down last week. So and the big change, I suppose, for the Longford team is where Leanne Keegan, their captain, isn't starting today. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, we'll see how it works. Kildare at the home and fans looking for their second win. The referee is Justin Murphy from County Cork. The ball is thrown in, the game is on, and Longford have the early possession through Shauna Hagan, or sending down in the direction reflection of Shauna Hagan, I should say, but she's managed to hold on to the ball, getting away from two players, and as Tommy rightfully mentioned, Trina Duggan is starting on the wing, leaving Ruth Sargent in midfield in the centre back, but this is Lara Kern on the move here now for Kildare. Will she go for the shot herself? I think she will. Lara Kern with the shot, that looked good from my angle. 20 seconds gone in the game. Kildare off the mark. It's Kildare 1 point, Longford no score.
Yeah, excellent turnover by Trina Duggan, and Lara Kern carried that ball a fair length there to get the score. It was an excellent turnover, great score to start off. Kildare will be settled now into the game straight away.
Exactly what they wanted in front of their home supporters, and especially after that championship game we talked to you about already. The goalkeeper for Longford is Ruth Jones, sends it down towards the 45, but again it's Trina Duggan involved in the action. This time Hannah Glennon might just win the battle and gives it to Lauren Maguire, and Lauren Maguire with her hand pass forward for Grace Shannon, and the two number 8s in battle. The number 8 for Kildare is the captain, Grace Clifford. The referee decides that she was illegal on that occasion. Grace Shannon wins the free, or sorry, Grace Clifford wins the free, my apologies. Kildare attacking the goal to the right in the first half. The orange boots of Grace Clifford to restart the action and sends the ball out to the left in the direction of Sarah Munley, and Sarah sends it down the field. The number 11, Roisin Byrne, great to see her back. People all over the country will celebrate Roisin Byrne's return. Will they celebrate in Longford? Will depend on the result. Grace Clifford has the ball, sends it out towards the left, and this is good play from the Lily Whites inside, and an opportunity here now to get in, and looks like the full forward Nasa Dooley with a shot that goes across the goal. The score didn't come at the end, but a great move from Kildare.
Great move, and you were talking about the two Graces, Grace Shannon and Grace Clifford in the middle of the field. That's going to be an interesting battle. Grace Shannon was excellent last week with her 3 points, and Grace Clifford is probably a stalwart of Kildare football at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Great opportunity to get a score there, but unfortunately just went a bit wide for Kildare.
I was just watching the way Kildare was setting up there, pressing 4 players towards the full backs, and it seemed to have worked out for them. This is Roisin Byrne with the ball. Roisin Byrne with the kick. It pays off for Kildare. They put the ball over the bar exactly 2 minutes in. It's 2 points to nil. But Tommy, I just the 4 Kildare players pressing up on the full back line.
Yeah, they did this last week as well, where they really concentrating on pressing on the opposition's kick out, which is really interesting. You can see they have their hands up. They're quite animated, and yeah, they push forward a lot. Even their half back line have pushed up into the opposition's half.
It's still early stages, but Longford can't afford to be giving the ball away. This is Roisin Byrne coming in. Sure, he's on for a goal. Goal for Kildare, and it's paid off the pressure on the full back line. I think Nasa Dooley was the player with the assist. Roisin Byrne gets the goal. There's 5 points between them.
Yeah, that's a massive thing now. Kickouts are going to be so important in this game, and Longford are really struggling at the moment. Kildare pushed up massively, and Nasa Dooley got a good catch. Great ball in. You can't give Roisin Byrne any space whatsoever in the last few games. She's been excellent. So.
Excellent now. Longford really need to work this out as the play comes out towards the left, and again it's Kildare that won the ball. Lara Kern, the number 13 is Ellen Dowling, and Ellen Dowling with another kick, and an excellent score for her, the third different score for Kildare. And again Longford, as you just said there, they tried going the left that time. They have to work this out.
They need to work this out very quickly, or else the game could be over before it even began. They really need to get a longer kick out or a short kick out, try and get it to the person straight away.
They've managed to find it this occasion. I think it's Quiva Lohan that wins the ball for Longford. The referee says it was a foul from the Kildare players, so we're going back for a free inside the 45-metre line. The new Longford manager is Alan Mullen. His mentors are Ollie Colgan, Shane Farrell, Mairead Reynolds and Emma Darby. The physio is Mark Howland too, coming in to try and continue Longford's rise, because Longford have been very competitive. These two teams met 3 times in 2022. Kildare with the 2 victories, 1 in the league and 1 on their way to Leinster Championship success. I think it was a semi-final on that occasion. We're having a hold up in play as Emma Doris, one of the 2 changes for Longford that's come onto the field of play, has picked up a knock. But just going to that point there, Tommy, about Longford, we were looking at their team that lined out against Kildare last year, and so many changes. I think there was only 3 starters here, so 12 changes from that team, and that's very difficult, especially when you're a new manager coming in.
For new management it's hard, because like I said before, I suppose this is an kind of an open competition. They don't have no Burn Cup. They don't have a pre-season really to check who their best team is, and on both sides. I suppose Deanne was involved last year with Kildare, so she has a bit more knowledge about her team. But in particular for the Longford management, it's going to be difficult. Alan has a big job on there to find out who's his best team to put on the pitch at each game. And at the moment, I suppose one of his biggest jobs is trying to sort out that kick out at the moment, because Kildare are really pressing on that, and you can see they're kind of gone a bit more defensive, where their wing forwards are going back, trying to help out there a bit more. So we'll see how they go.
I was just watching there the Kildare defence, and I don't know if they started this way, but Leisha Linehan seemed to be out the field, but she's come back at full back. I think she swapped on that occasion with Lara Gilbert. But we're looking here at the Longford number 4, Emma Doris. Emma Doris, a great Longford ambassador too. Did the 400k punch challenge for Longford. That was the hashtag Do It For Dan a couple of years ago as well, and a real great role model for young players from Longford there as well. But it's Kildare on the roll here at the moment as they're moving down the left flank, the ball in the direction of Roisin Byrne. I think it was Hazel McLaughlin that sent the hand pass down, but it's won on this occasion by Emily Riley, and Longford have possession inside their own 20-metre line. They might be going now for the short passes to work it out the field. Like, there's no real wind here. If no, now Longford again under trouble there. Pressure on Emer O'Brien. Good work by Lara Kern for Kildare, but Longford hold on to the ball and they bring it towards the 45-metre line. Shauna Hagan with possession offloads the ball, offloads it to Grace Kenny. Grace Kenny down for Camille Burke, her first touch of the game, but Kildare have managed to turn it around again. Good play from Grace Clifford, and you can see Lara Gilbert pushing up as well. The ball goes out on the left hand side of the field, and this is actually Holly Tyrrell, the number 24, that's coming inside. She's going to go for a kick at the post. She'll be disappointed with that effort. Another scoring chance there for Kildare, but again Longford, to their credit, trying to do something different.
Yeah, they're trying to change something up. They're trying to get the shorter passes off, but the problem is when they get up to the midfield, they're looking up for a kick pass, and it's kind of getting turned over there. So they need to be trying to work it up the pitch, but they also need a focal point in their full forward line and half forward line to try and get an easy kick out if they're in a bit of bother.
And it's interesting to say that because Camille Burke had to come out to the 65-metre line to get involved in the action. Ruth Jones and Colin Kill trying to see could she get success out the right in this occasion, hoping that Quiva McCormick will get to the end of this, but it isn't. It's Holly Tyrrell from Rathcoffey that has the ball, but she had the ball. Longford win it back, and it's going to be a free out for Longford. We have played nearly 7 minutes here in round 2 of the Lidl Ladies National Football League. If you're just joining us here on the LGV streaming service, and if you're a Kildare supporter, you'll be delighted how it's going so far. Kildare 1-3, Longford no score. A goal from Roisin Byrne on 3 minutes. The big score in the game as Longford have yet to threaten the opposing goal. 2 wides for Kildare in the game so far, and of course if you give the ball away like that, you're not going to be threatening much because Hazel McLaughlin will mop those up all day. Gives it back to Ruth Sargent. Ruth Sargent finds a teammate in Kildare in possession inside the 65-metre line, and look who's back to receive it, and that's Lara Kern, the number 15, right in front of us here in the commentary box. Kicks it down. It was a bit ambitious, has to be said. Longford cut it out through Hannah Glennon, and Hannah Glennon gives it to Ciara Healy, and Ciara Healy to Grace Kenny, and Grace Kenny now inside the 65-metre line, but again Longford just stopping and it was, but Grace Clifford again applying the pressure. Didn't win the ball on that occasion, but Grace Clifford has been involved in nearly every big Kildare move in the early stages of the match. Thankfully Emma Doris is back to her feet and going well, and Longford have the ball on their own 65-metre line. Grace Shannon with possession there, just trying to see what they can do. Out to the left to Hannah Glennon, the one player from Longford in the defence so far that looks like she could be assertive if given the opportunity. Lauren Maguire has the ball. She scored 1-1 in last week's defeat against Louth. Down towards the corner, down towards Shauna Hagan, who's pushed inside. Kildare take it back, and Lara Kern involved again with dash, and Kildare will bring it up to the 45-metre line, and Trina Duggan involved in the first 2 places of the match, gives it out to the right to Leisha Linehan. Leisha Linehan moving down the field, gives it to Nasa Dooley. Nasa Dooley wears number 14 down the right, looking for support. Trina Duggan is running inside. She did well to find her. Trina will go for the shot. That's going to go into the hands of the goalkeeper, Ruth Jones. But Tommy, just like that from defence, Kildare down getting the scoring chance.
Yeah, they're getting a scoring chance. They're really breaking at pace, and you can see that Trina Duggan going up the wing, and their other wing back as well going up the wing, and Hazel McLaughlin causing a lot of hassle here when she's getting back on the ball. But Longford on the attack here again. They need to get their scores into the full forward line, closer to the goal. Like Lauren Maguire last week scored 1-1. She needs to be closer to the goal for today.
Yeah, it was just, as you were saying that too, I was just looking. There was only one Longford attacker inside the opposing 45-metre line, Shauna Hagan. 2 now are there because Longford will restart the action, the far side of the field. And again, as Tommy just touched on there, get the first score at Longford. Just get yourselves into the game. But you can't be giving it to Hazel McLaughlin. This is the second time we've said that in a couple of moments. And Grace Clifford won't be too far away, the captain of Kildare, and Lara Kern, another name we should mention. Back working very, very hard in Kildare. The ball out in the 65-metre line. And again, this is good from the home side. Eva Radigan to Larry Gilbert. Larry Gilbert to Grace Clifford. In towards the attack, offloaded there. And it's in for Roisin Byrne. The second goal is on. Perhaps a shot, a goal! Roisin Byrne with the second goal. Ellen Dowling was the player left out of that. But Kildare are now 2-3, no score in front.
Yeah, that quick transition from defence to attack is absolutely killing Longford. The ball in there, Ellen Dowling with the hand pass off, and Roisin Byrne again. You can't give her the space or time. I think she's on 2-1 already.
2-1 already. She is on indeed, as we just counted. It's 2-3 to Kildare, no score to Longford. What a start to the year for Kildare. Now Diana O'Hora and Kildare supporters will be very, very quick, and rightfully so, to point out it started very, very well last year too, but didn't happen for them. But they've scored 5 goals in the league in just over 70 minutes of action and have yet to concede a goal. But of course, it's 2 home games. They'll be on the road next week for the first time. Ciara Healy is the number 15 for Longford. They'll be at home for the first time next week. We'll have that game live in the streaming service. Our game against Offaly next Sunday, the 5th of February. And that's a game they'll definitely have to target, and be more pressure putting them now if this game goes against them, which is looking like so far. Grace Shannon to restart the action, sending the ball down in the direction of Clodagh Lohan. That ball tails out of play, and it's going to be Kildare to restart, Tommy.
Yeah, Longford need to get a score on the board, or even keep the possession for a bit longer, because they really need to play themselves into this game. They're struggling at the moment to keep possession, and when Kildare get their break there, they're really causing a lot of damage. Even here you can see there's a lot of kick passing on by Kildare, so look, Longford need to get a score on the board as quick as possible, and even get their hand on the ball for a sustained period of time, just to get them into the game.
It's a sign of confidence, as you mentioned, the kick passes there, especially in defence. Larry Kern gives it off to Grace Clifford, and Grace Clifford waits for the support. Sarah Munley, the number 7 there, has the ball on your screen. Back to the captain, Grace Clifford. Grace Clifford, who likes a cup of tea before the game. She'll definitely enjoy one afterwards if Kildare win this match. Kick forward by Trina Duggan in towards Ellen Dowling, who's been doing a lot of good work so far. Ellen Dowling trying to pick out Roisin Byrne. Remember, Roisin is on a hat-trick. That ball goes to the left and wide, third wide of the game. I suppose it'd be unfair to be getting critical of some of Kildare shooting with 3 wides.
It's very unfair. I suppose Kildare are really impressive with their kick passing, though. That's 2 kick passes right into the full forward line, and it's causing a lot of hassle.
It's causing a lot of hassle. There was a touch there for Caitlin McKeown, but it didn't work out. And Kildare in possession again. It is left to Grace Clifford. The referee blew the whistle, and throw ball he's indicating, I think. And
harsh enough.
Nasa Dooley is claiming that she did it on the blind side of the referee, but a let off for Longford has
Yeah, let off for Longford, especially Nessa and Roisin in particular have been the top scorers for Kildare last day, and probably over the last number of years they've been probably the standout forward. So Longford really need to get out the ball, hand on the ball, and get a score here.
Yeah, they're bringing the ball out towards the 65-metre line. The bounce just not happening for Lauren Maguire at the moment, but she has possession as she moves down the left. And again, Lara Kern back there blocking out the line. She's covered probably more ground than anyone else in the game so far. Well, Hazel McLaughlin deserves a mention in that conversation too. This is good from Longford on the left-hand side. Caoimhe Lohan with the ball. This is their first score of the game, and Caoimhe Lohan puts the ball over the bar. It has taken Longford nearly 13 minutes to get off the mark. They have to score. It's a point of 2-3.
Great score, yeah. Caoimhe is an excellent footballer. She scored 3 points last week, and she's continuing on with that vein. Kildare probably kind of get disappointed. They had the bodies back, but they didn't get any contact on the ball, so difficult enough. But great short kick out by I think it's only your second game in goal for Kildare, Anna Dunley.
Anna Dunley doing well, but Longford have turned possession. This is the moment now. We know ladies football can swing very quickly. Shauna Hagan there in possession, took the pass from Clodagh Lohan, was trying to give the return, and it was good defending again. I think it was Trina Duggan, the player that got in the way. Longford still have the ball. Lauren Maguire, they're pushing up that little bit more now. They realise there's nothing to lose, but Grace Clifford there nearly took it away from Grace Shannon, not to be, and his ball is sent across the field as Caoimhe McCormick, who was involved in the first point, lays it off to number 14, Camille Burke. Camille Burke to Ciara Healy, and Ciara Healy inside the 45-metre line. Longford spraying the ball left and right. Can they get the scoring shot inside? It might come here. Maybe she should have gone for the kick. Tried to go for the pass. Shauna Hagan nearly took it and was fouled in the process. I don't know if Sarah Munley was the guilty party, but it's a free in for Longford, and a big moment even this early in the game, just to string 2 scores together. Remember, there's a lot of football to be played here in Hawkfield, which is the geographical venue of the Vanguard Plus Kildare Centre of Excellence, where we are bringing you this coverage of the Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 3, brought to you in association with Stream Sport Ireland. Number 15 on your screen is Ciara Healy. She also got 3 points the opening day as well for Longford. Takes the kick at the post. The umpire says it's gone wide. That's a disappointing one, Tommy, it has to be said.
Yeah, Ciara would be expecting to put them over the bar. But yeah, much better from Longford. They're even pressing up on the kick out. You can see they even have 4 in the full forward line. So they're hoping that Kildare go long. But Kildare still go short.
Well, I have to say, I'd be a big fan of pressing up in the kickouts anyway. It makes it very, very interesting to see what way defences can deal with this. Anna Dunlea sends the ball out to the right towards Lara Gilbert. Lara bringing it back to Grace Clifford. They say don't bring it back towards goal, but when Grace Clifford is the player you're playing the 1-2 with, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Out towards the left-hand side of the field, Sarah Munley now will bring it up to the 65 for Kildare. Longford just trying to get their matchups right, and Emer O'Brien nearly took it away from Holly Tyrrell, but it's out with Hazel McLaughlin now, and Hazel McLaughlin down the left-hand side of the field as Kildare look for a response, and the punish Longford's miss. This is looking good for the whole side as a kick at the post. Would that look good for the score? It looks very, very good for the score. It has gone over the bar. Kildare make it 2-4 to a point.
Yeah, Kildare have been very impressive in terms of their kick out there. Longford pushed up, but you can see the problems Longfords are having on their own kick out and Kildare kick out. Kildare worked it all the way down the pitch, and Hayes McLaughlin carried the ball a bit forward, but again you can't give Roisin Byrne that space and time. She's always going to punish you, and that's a super score.
A super score from Roisin Byrne, bringing her own personal tally to 2-2 in the game, and it's now Kildare 2-4. Longford 1 point as we're officially gone in to the second quarter of the game. I'm just wondering, was that Emma Doris again receiving attention? And it'll be the second time she has, and Longford will be concerned, of course, as Tommy mentioned at the start of the commentary. They're already starting this game without their captain, Leanne Keegan, which is a massive blow for them. Grace Shannon wins the ball while playing a bit of solo. I thought there was a free there for the moment, but she was just teasing the Kildare defence, showing the Longford are here to play as well despite their bad start. And Lauren Maguire will send it back, but they have to get it outside the 45-metre line if they're going to threaten Kildare at all. Kildare will happily play with the ball here for the remainder of the game. Emer O'Brien with possession, and this is very, very dangerous from Longford, it has to be said. A bit more space out towards the right, just overcooked was the kick, and it's gone out for Kildare. And I have to say, and I don't be picking on Longford this early in the game, but they were really messing with the ball there.
Yeah, they're under pressure, and you can't be at that. They were kind of passing around out in space, but
Roisin Byrne just fancies kicking from anywhere. That comes off the upright. It might come back for Roisin again to have another go. There's 3 Longford players coming in. Cueva McCormick getting a touch, but Roisin Byrne holds onto the ball, looking for support. There's plenty of it there. Hazel McLaughlin, the player to provide it, gives it to Aoife Rattigan. Aoife Rattigan was a Kildare player that had a great game against Longford last year in the championship, and she gets her first of this game, puts the ball over the bar. 17 minutes gone, it's 2-5 to a point.
Yeah, Aoife's long range shooting has been excellent there against Down. She kicked, I think it was 3 long range shots anyway, and there again today but Longford are probably causing their own problems where they're getting into the hassle with their kick passing because they're short players and working out so far anyway.
Yeah, and of course, if you look at the Longford perspective as well, they just seem to be working their way into the game after the poor start as well, and to give away 2 cheap scores. Don't want to take away from the quality of the kicks either, but they could have been much better dealt with. Grace Clifford with possession as Kildare go on the move again, gives it back to Aoife Rattigan. She's a smell of it now. She got 4 the last day. She got 3 against Longford last year, but that one goes to the left and wide. 4 wides to 1 here. Diana Hoare, of course, as we've mentioned, Tommy is the new Kildare manager, and you mentioned as well she was involved in the setup last year. She's managed Roscommon before. She's won All-Ireland with Mayo. What can she bring to this Kildare team?
Yeah, I suppose that winning attitude that they've probably missed out on last year, where they went very, very well in the Leinster Championship, but they definitely have improved in this game and the last game anyway in terms of putting teams away.
And they're looking good here at the moment as Grace Clifford sends the ball down towards the corner, and Kildare just want to build up more scores. Nasa Dooley, a very acute angle. She might try and send this across the field in the direction of Holly Tyrrell. Not to be in good play there from Caitlin McKeown. It comes back to Windits for Longford. Hand passes out for Grace Kenny, and Grace Kenny is on the 45-metre line, wins the free as well. So a reprieve for Longford to bring it out towards the 45. No sign of any activity from the respective dugouts so far, but again Longford have given the ball away. Grace Clifford with possession, kicks it straight down. It's a great ball, as Tommy said. Nasa Dooley, well, you have to applaud that. The supporters here do. Longford shouldn't have given the ball away, but what great use it was from Kildare.
Yeah, you can see really the big difference here where Kildare have the kicking game and it's definitely working. Grace Clifford got the ball straight into Nessa Dooley and over the bar, where Longford have to work it a lot harder. I know there's a bit of a breeze there, but Longford are really struggling here.
2-6 to a point. That breeze slightly picking up, and it is favouring Kildare. Not a major factor in the game, but it might be worth a couple of points. Longford need to get a couple of points before half time to play themselves back into this contest. Ciara Healy with the ball inside the 65-metre line, passes it back to Hannah Glennon, and Hannah Glennon waits for the player to come up the field, and that's Grace Kenny who gives it back to Hannah, and Hannah Glennon now goes past the 65-metre line. This is a good 1-2 play. Grace Kenny in possession again, back to Hannah. They're playing with the ball themselves. They got inside the 45-metre line. Let's get Shauna Hagan involved in the action. Shauna goes to ground. Trina Duggan seems to be winning that battle, though Shauna did still help the Longford score in the game so far. And Kildare now on the counter attack straight away as this ball, if it came for Ellen Dowling, could have been dangerous. It might come yet, but Emer O'Brien should have dealt with it. And the referee says there was a foul committed, and the Kildare home supporters will question that. Emer O'Brien won't mind. And did somebody say something to the referee, Justin Murphy from Cork? And there's a bit of words there being given to Roisin Byrne. So we're going to have a free out for Longford anyway.
Yeah, excellent by Emer O'Brien getting the turnover there. Longford, I suppose Hannah Gleeson has been a real focal point for a lot of their attacks. They've actually been doing quite well on this wing. But unlucky by Shauna Hagan there. She just slipped or fell there when she had the ball.
Play continues on down the left side of the field. Clodagh Lohan hasn't scored in the game so far. Can she get off the mark in this one? Gives it to Grace Shannon. Grace Shannon, this is an opportunity here for Longford. There's their players there to get inside. She might go for the kick down for Shauna Hagan. Shauna Hagan, can she get the touch? A chance for Longford. It's gone to the left and wide. And the best chance of the game for Longford so far. Great play, has to be said, by Grace Shannon to set that up. And Shauna Hagan, whether it was bad luck or bad contact, it doesn't matter. It's no score.
Yeah, Grace, excellent ball. I think she's both footed by the looks of things, but yeah, excellent ball in. And unlucky by Shauna Hagan. Great running to get into that position, but unfortunately the finish didn't happen.
Didn't happen for her, and Kildare on the move again. Grace Clifford taking the pass from Aoife Radigan down the left hand side of the field. There's always a couple of supporting players there. Aoife Radigan to Hazel McLaughlin. Hazel McLaughlin gives it to Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne is enjoying her day out here. Weaves inside, but she go low. No, she goes high, puts the ball over the bar again. Kildare with a good response. 21 minutes in, it's 2-7 to a point.
Yeah, Longford, unfortunately, they probably would have loved to have that goal, even get a bit more confidence on the scoreboard, but unfortunately they didn't. Kildare go down the opposite end and get a score on the board straight away. It's
a 4-point swing. There's now 12 points between the teams. It could have been 8, but Longford now have the ball. Hannah Glennon back inside her own 45-metre line, but you can see again the Kildare players pushing up. Lauren Maguire doing an awful lot of defensive work in this game. She'd rather be the other end of the fields, but Longford have to get it up there as Grace Kenny gives it off to Grace Shannon. And Grace Shannon looking for a player around, and Longford just hand passing the ball in defence. We mentioned earlier on there's no Byrne Cup or pre-season competition for the Longford ladies footballers, but no doubt they're well behind our men who beat Louth last week to win the O'Byrne Cup. The men starting off their National League campaigns this weekend already. Great games taking place so far, but we're focused here in the Lidl Ladies National Football League. We're focused on Nasa Dooley as she comes inside. She might go for the kick here. Nasa, it's a Gary Owen style ball. Will it hold up for Ellen Dowling? That's the question. The umpire having a good look. She's kept it in play, and it's gone wide off the Kildare player. It was always a difficult ball to hold, Tommy.
Yeah, and nearly impossible ball to hold. Probably the first bad shot selection all day for Kildare. That's how clinical they have been so far. And usually Nessa would put them over a lot of the time as well. But yeah, you can see again Kildare pressing up a lot. Like their whole half back line are in the Longford half.
Kildare have never been Ladies National Football League Division 3 champions. They were runners-up twice in 1999 and 2 years ago against Laois when they lost that final as well. They did win the Division 2 title in 2004. Of course, this year we're back to all play all in the top 3 divisions. 7 games guaranteed for every county, but only the top 2 go into the final, with 1 being promoted. So it's very, very competitive even here in this Division 3 football. We hope you're enjoying our coverage as Longford try and find a way inside. Kira Healy with the ball gives it past to Emma Doris. Emma Doris is going to go for a long range effort. It always looked more hopeful, and goals to the right wide. 3 wides for Longford, 5 for Kildare.
Yeah, they probably need to get people like Lauren Maguire or Camille Burke on the ball a bit more, and they probably need to be closer to the goal to make sure that they're giving a bit of an option there, but also causing a bit of damage. They don't want their cornerbacks, no disrespect to cornerbacks all over the country, but they don't want their cornerbacks taking a long range free or long range kick like that.
You mentioned earlier on, we were talking about Kildare, about the kick passing and the way they were doing it with confidence, and I suppose the difference between the two of them, Kildare have runners a few times, but Kildare are very quickly around the middle to kick the ball inside. Haven't seen that much of that from Longford in the match.
Yeah, Longford are trying to work it in through the hand more than anything, but you can see they're strong runners like Grace Shannon and Cueva Lone really. Grace
Shannon is one of the standout players for Longford so far. What a score! What a score from Grace Shannon out on the right-hand side. I think she took the pass from Clodagh Lohan. We talked about great scores in the game so far, and that effort from Grace Shannon is up there with them.
That was excellent. Grace is an excellent footballer, and she's shown it really here. She's probably the real standout footballer at the moment for the Longford side, herself and Hannah Glennon. But yeah, they need more of that, Longford do.
I was going to say the exact same thing as well. She's really standing out in the blue and yellow at the moment. But it's the white jerseys of Kildare that are dominating this game. They lead by 2-7 to 2 points, with less than 6 minutes of normal time remaining. And again, that long kick down, well read on this occasion by Emily Riley. And Emily Riley sends the ball out the field. But this is where Longford run into problems with the first touch. Grace Shannon, very little she's done wrong in the game so far, but she's lost the ball there. And the referee says she was fouled in the process. And is the referee going to have another word there with Roisin Byrne? Or either way, it looks like it's going to be a free out for Longford.
I think it was Aoife Radigan. I don't know what happened there. He kind of held off there till he made a decision. But you can see the kind of differences. Like I said, the kick passing from Kildare causing a lot of issues. But that was excellent defending by Emily Riley. Coming out with the ball. But I think there's a change happening here as well.
Yeah, and it's a Kildare change as well. I thought we might see a Longford one, and we'll see. Is there a knock there? Aoife Radigan? Is it Aoife Radigan going off? I think it is. So I'm not too sure if she picked up a knock or was this a designated move. Either way, it's Elaine Keogh that's come on the field for Kildare. She wears number 20, and Aoife Radigan is gone.
Yeah, and Aoife was playing well. I don't know what the story is. She didn't look like she picked up a knock. She kicked the point already in the game. She played well against Down, so big change.
Well, Clodagh Lohan now, can she make a big change in this game as she sends it inside in the direction of Caoimhe Lohan? The Lohans combining, but it's Anna Dunlea that wins it for Kildare, and Trina Duggan there to mop it up, and Kildare now don't want to be messing with it inside their own 13-metre line as they just find the players, and Longford applied the pressure. Now they need to make this count, Longford, and kick at the post, but you could even see the reaction from Lauren Maguire straight away. She didn't get the contact, and that's what she wanted. Another wide for Longford.
Yeah, another wide for Longford, but really they're really setting themselves into the game a bit more. They've got 2 or 3 goal chances. If that went to hand there, I think that would have been in the back of the net. I think it was Caoimhe Lohan in the square there. So there's a lot of danger there for Longford. Kildare need to be careful. Like you said, it could switch any moment in ladies football.
It can switch any moment, and one goal for Longford could change everything. They were Division 3 champions back in 1997. There's a feel-good factor after Longford slashes All-Ireland title win, and this is an opportunity for Caoimhe Lohan. Caoimhe Lohan has players queuing up there looking for the pass. Grace Shannon is one of them. She has possession surrounded by white jerseys, but the referee says their hands were around her. Now, was that inside or outside the square is the decision. We signalled the free. I think that's what we're going to have. And Kildare are getting players back. He didn't put the hands out for a penalty yet, so it's going to be a free in. So he says it happened just outside the square. The foul, but Longford will take the score and just try and build up the tally. Can they get it back to single digits before the break? The free is taken by Lauren Maguire. It goes over the bar, and we have just over 3 minutes to half time, and it's now 2-7 to 3 points. Yeah,
Longford will be delighted to try and get their foothold in the game, but Kildare will be very, very disappointed with that. They had plenty of women around the player, and they should have really got a turnover.
And Longford now, can they just finish with a flourish? Here is Clodagh Lohan on the move again. Clodagh into Caoimhe. Caoimhe Lohan with a shot. I don't know if she was thinking about dipping it, but it went over the bar nonetheless. But it's 3 scores in a row now for Longford in this game. Caoimhe with the point there, and it's back to 2-7 to 4 points.
Yeah, in the middle of the field, Grace Shannon and Caoimhe Lohan are playing absolutely excellently. They're really pulling Longford back into this game, really stepping up when Longford were under a bit of pressure there over the last few minutes. So it's interesting to see.
Well, people talk about blanket defences in Gaelic football, whether men or women on regular occasion. I can tell you on this occasion it was 13 Longford players inside the Kildare 65-metre line, really pushing forward. Just sometimes the end product doesn't work out, but I think we have to credit the goalkeeper Anna Dunlea for reading that well and winning possession back. And Kildare will try and keep their composure and bring it up the fields. And Lara Kern with the solo got away from her. Good touch there from Lauren Maguire, but I reckon it might be a Kildare ball. And yes, it's Kildare ball, says the referee. And they're going to be starting the action right in front of us here in the commentary box. And Trina Duggan, great to see her back involved in the action. She's going to take this on her own 65-metre line. Her side 9 points to the good. But I've just lost a bit of momentum in the last couple of moments. Can they regain it before the break? That's a good kick in for Ellen Dowling. Ellen Dowling has support but goes herself back to the 65-metre line. Back to Trina Duggan. And Trina Duggan will send it out to Sarah Munley. Sarah needed a second goal to get her hands on that, but quickly releases it back to the Kildare number 30. Good play from Kildare. Grace Clifford behind the ball as well. The captain, the leader of Kildare, goes with a long kick in towards the corner. Great vision there to pick out Nasa Dooley. Now what can Nasa Dooley do with this? Weaves to the left, trying to pick out Roisin Byrne. I think they got their signals mixed up on that occasion, and Emma Doris wins it back for Longford, and Longford now will try and hand pass it out the field again. The referee spots the foul very quick in, and that it is. He's going to be a free out for Longford.
Yeah, some excellent kick pass, and Nessa was trying to pick out Roisin there, but unfortunately it went just a bit wayward. But Longford really getting into the game here, and like you said, they're starting to actually play like they should be. I suppose their management will be wondering what happened in the first 10-15 minutes of the game.
Will do indeed, because they really give away the head start there now, but they seem to be working out their game plan. And of course, we mentioned a lot of changes in Longford this year, including the management, as we touched on at the start, and no doubt there's an insight into some of these Longford players too. So different names might mean any harm at the moment. Grace Clifford with a long ball down in towards the attack, hoping that would work out for Holly Tyrrell, but Emer O'Brien should win the race for that, but she hasn't won it just yet. She has possession, has to make sure she stays in the field, gives it to Emily Riley, and Emily Riley up the field. We have about 20 seconds of normal time remaining here. I haven't spotted the countdown clock here in the Manguard Plus Centre of Excellence in County Kildare, so it'll be the discretion of the referee. We'll see if he gives any indication how much added time will be played. I'll imagine we'll have 1 or 2 minutes anyway. There was a couple of hold-ups in that first half. Ciara Healy with the ball, gives it to Caitlin McKeown, back to Ciara, and Ciara offloads to Grace Shannon, who's in the long ball down, but that was won by Lara Gilbert, and Lara Gilbert for Kildare out towards the middle of the field. Hazel McLaughlin is there as well, and Trina Duggan on her own, 45-metre line. We are in injury time in the first half of this round 2 game in the Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 3. Can Longford get a big score before half time? And if this touch works out for Quiva Lone, who's pushed inside as a full forward, especially during the second quarter of this game, and it seems to be working out for Longford at the moment. If they make a count, out on the left is Shauna Hagan, and Shauna Hagan trying to find the other of the Loans, that is Clodagh. But good work from Kildare, winning the ball back, winning the free in the process, and restarting the action with a kick forward in the direction of Grace Clifford. Grace Clifford on the 45-metre line to Nasa Dooley. Nasa Dooley back to put in her fair share shift of the work as well, and she'll give it out to the left to Trina Duggan. Trina Duggan looking around for options, back to Grace Clifford, and Grace Clifford out to the left, spots loads of space and spots the Kildare number 10 jersey of Hazel McLaughlin. So Hazel McLaughlin getting ready to meet the other number 10. The bounce wouldn't work out for Sarah Munley. Might have more luck. Sarah Munley back to Grace Clifford. Kildare want to be careful now, because there's 1 or 2 blue jerseys lurking around near them. Lara Curran says, I'll come out and deal with this, and she has it on the 65-metre line. Are Kildare playing down the clock before half time? The referee has his whistle in his mouth, and surely it won't be too much more time in the opening half. Kildare eventually pay for playing with the ball too much, and Longford overturn it, and Longford will look for another score before the break. This is Grace Shannon. Grace Shannon just held up on her 65-metre line. She waits for the support from Caitlin McKeown, but Caitlin McKeown loses out to Holly Tyrrell. Holly Tyrrell to Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne with a long kick down inside. There's a big opportunity for Kildare. Nasa Dooley there. Can she get the shot? Nasa Dooley shot. Dooley saved there. It's a point nonetheless. It went off the crossbar. I'm not quite sure if Ruth Jones touched that, but it's a point nonetheless.
Yeah, I think she actually did. She tipped it onto the crossbar there. It was an excellent save. Nessa Dooley one-on-one with the goalkeeper. She actually had Ellen Dowling on the left-hand side there. If she actually hand passed it across, I say it would have been a simple tap-in, but I suppose Nessa Dooley's an unbelievable forward, and you'd probably expect her to score. I think the referee is having a chat with the 2 captains.
Yeah, having a word anyway. I'm not too sure. Well, he called Grace Clifford over as well, so presumably he wanted to chat to both of them. And Lauren McGuire.
It's interesting to see Lauren so far down the pitch.
It is indeed. She's back in defensive. The referee, Justin Murphy from Cork, has blown the half-time whistle here. 2 Roisin Byrne goals early in the game, giving Kildare an advantage. Tommy Bullock, your overall thoughts in this first half?
Yeah, Kildare have kind of two different styles of play, I suppose. Kildare have been really, I suppose, using the foot a lot more than Longford have been. For the first 10-15 minutes, I thought Longford were in a lot of bother here, but they've really played themselves into the game. They really need to get the ball. People on the ball like Grace Shannon and Quiva Lone have really caused Kildare a lot of problems. On the flip side, where Kildare are making hay, I suppose, they're really getting the ball into Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne kicking 2-2. Not a bad day's work so far, and that's only half the game gone. So they really need to Longford probably need to solidify that and really work on their kick-out, their own kick-outs. They've actually conceded, I'd say, nearly 2-3, 2-4 at this stage.
2-4 between the teams at half-time. A big second half to come, and Longford showed some signs of positivity before the break if they can make it count on the scoreboard. But if you're from Kildare, you'll be happy with what you've seen so far. Your side are 10 points up. We're going to take a break. A few highlights coming up of the opening half of this Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 3 game. And myself and Tommy will be back in about 10 minutes' time for full live coverage of the second half here. The half-time score, it's Kildare 2-8, Longford 4 points. Thank you very much and welcome back here to Mangard Plus Centre of Excellence in County Kildare. We are here for round 2 of the Little Ladies National Football League. We're at half time. It's Kildare 2-8, Longford 4 points. I'm Darren Kelly, joined in the commentary box by Tommy Mullock in association with Stream Sport Ireland. And as you can see on your screen, it looks like everybody is good to go for the second half. So we'll get Tommy's thoughts in just a couple of moments. But the question is here, can Longford turn this around and get themselves back into the game after conceding 2 goals to Roisin Byrne in the opening 10 minutes? Well, I thought, Tommy, they were all good to go here, but looks like not just yet, or maybe we're about to have the throw in.
About to have the throw in, I think, yeah.
So the ball is thrown in. The referee is Justin Murphy from County Cork. We'll have an eye in a few minutes to see if there's any major changes. Of course, you can see number 20 there, Lane Kyo, came on during the first half for Aoife Radigan. She gives the ball to Grace Clifford. Kildare 10 points in front. We'll run through these scores for both teams in just a couple of moments. But out to the right hand side of the field, and Trina Duggan there in possession on the 65 gives it to Grace Clifford. And Grace Clifford now looking around for options there. And you can see Kildare wants to kick it inside. Kicking inside for Roisin Byrne, who's on a hat-trick on the 45-metre line, back to Grace Clifford. Grace Clifford moving down the right, getting away from Grace Shannon. This is good for Kildare. Nasa Dooley, she missed a goal in the first half. Can she get one here? Decides to take the point, puts it over the bar. 40 seconds gone, it's 2-9 to 4 points.
Yeah, that Kildare kick passing has been excellent so far, and that them runners off the shoulder after the kick pass have been really, really impressive. They kind of faded out of the game coming into the end of the first half, but I suppose they're back to normality now.
Back to normality they are, and they start off the second half like they started off the first. 2-9 for Kildare. That is the third point of the game for Nasa Dooley. 2-2 for Roisin Byrne. Ellen Dowling, sorry, my apologies. Lara Kern also on target, as was Aoife Radigan for Kildare in the first half. The Longford scores, there was 2 points for Caoimhe Lohan, 1 for Grace Shannon, and a free for Lauren Maguire. Down the right hand side of the field, it's Kildare starting off the second half brightly. Longford needed it. We'll give you the half-time scores from the other games in Division 3 in a moment. This is Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne trying to find a way inside. Gives it out to Ellen Dowling. And Ellen Dowling now will bring it back to the 45-metre line to the captain, Grace Clifford. Grace Clifford with possession. Gives it off to Sarah Munley. And Sarah Munley back to Roisin Byrne. And Roisin Byrne now back to Ellen Dowling, and Ellen Dowling trying to find a way inside on the 45-metre line. Longford have the bodies back, but Ellen drops it in towards the house. And Ruth Jones there, very, very careful to deal with this. Gives the hand pass out to number 25. That's one change on the team, and that is Kana Lee. We'll see who she came on for in a few moments. Kana Lee, number 25 for Longford, is on the field of play as they try and attack down the right now through Camille Burke. And Camille Burke now looking around for options. It goes for the kick inside. We were saying in the first half that Longford need to be doing more of that. It didn't work out this time. Larry Gilbert with the ball, and as Kildare bring it out. Just to give you the half-time scores that we had from the other games. Wexford 3-9, Clare 2-3. Down 1-6, Sligo 4 points, and Loud 2-6, Offaly 4 points. So as things stand out, we'll put Kildare, Loud and Wexford joint top of Division 3 on 4 points each, but an awful lot of football to be played today, let alone over the next 5 rounds. Out the far side of the field is Emma Doris, sending the pass down in the direction of Lauren Maguire. Lauren Maguire want to be pushing up more in the second half, and in the direction of Ciara Healy. Ciara Healy loses now. Good work first by Lauren Burke, but it's Lara Gilbert that takes the ball. And Lara sending it across to Leisha Linehan. So Longford asking a few questions, Tommy.
Yeah, and they've changed up a bit. Like, so they pushed Caoimhe Lohan, who was really, really causing Kildare a lot of hassle in the first half. They've pushed her up into full forward, and they've made a few changes there to see if they can kind of crack the code here on the Kildare defence.
Well, they've done a good link-up play there between 3 players, and it was Ruth Sargent to take possession, but she's up against Claude Alone. We talked about wanting to see those 2 players get together regularly in this match. This time the decision goes in favour of the Kildare number 6, and 2 passes later it's Grace Clifford with the ball, sending it down in towards the attack. Kildare lead by 11 points. Trina Duggan is pushed forward. Trina Duggan with the pass inside for Ellen Dowling with a shot. She just lost her balance as she was about to kick it. The ball goes to the right and wide. Big let off there for Longford. Kildare should have punished them.
Yeah, should have punished them. They should have got at least a score out of it, but it was an excellent run, excellent kick pass first of all, great hand pass into Trina Duggan. Trina Duggan hand passed it off to probably an excellent score, and 9 times out of 10 Ellen Dowling would probably put that in the back of the net, but fortunately for her, this was the one time she didn't.
It didn't happen for her on that occasion, and Longford really need now to start testing the goal the other end of the field as Grace Shannon sends the ball out towards the left, out towards Lauren Maguire, who's going running on her bike inside the 45-metre line. That's good skill, good play. Can she finish it off with a score for Longford? Good response from Longford. That'll give them a lift. 5 minutes gone. That's their first point of the second half, 2-9 to 5 points.
Yeah, that's an excellent score, and I really do think Lauren Maguire should be closer to goal. Like that shows that she's well able to kick scores. So I think plays like that should be a lot more on the Longford radar, keeping her closer to goal.
It was a great kick in that occasion. Longford had possession again. The ball comes out to the right to Caoimhe McCormick, and Caoimhe McCormick now will try and work her way inside, playing it out to the right. Longford spreading the play. Ciara Healy, will she kick it inside or will she take on the player? Passes it out towards the corner, towards Clodagh Lohan, and Clodagh Lohan now coming inside there. Can they get a better angle to go for a shot? Well, we've seen Longford already kick one from an acute angle. Lauren Maguire is there as well. Just didn't get the first touch on the ball. Support is coming, and that support comes from the full back, Emily Riley, but Kildare have overturned the ball. Nasa Dooley back again, and it's Nasa Dooley and Grace Clifford on the move here, and space opening up for Kildare. Can they make a countdown? Nasa Dooley inside the 45-metre line. Will she offload? Will she go herself? It'll be great either way. Out to the right to Lara Kern. Lara Kern, is she coming inside? She might go for the shot here. Lara Kern on. I think another touch from the goalkeeper off the crossbar, and Emma Doris takes it on the line. We'll get Tommy's thoughts in a moment, because Longford haven't fully cleared it yet. Out towards the 45. Tommy, I think Ruth Jones got a touch in it, but the crossbar came to the rescue again.
Yeah, crossbar came to the rescue again. Excellent goalkeeping by Ruth Jones, but that was an excellent play by I think it was Nessa Dooley. The great kick pass in, and unfortunately for Lara Kern, can't beat Ruth Jones. Ruth Jones has really turned it on there. That's two great saves by herself. Longford can count themselves lucky though.
Yeah, I was just teeing up Nasa Dooley for a goal for the ages there if she finished it off herself. Not to be. 2 goal chances for Kildare gone as they make a couple of substitutions. And we're going to try to keep an eye on that. Of course, the whole Gaelic Games world now keeping a close eye on substitutions this weekend after what happened in Croke Park last week. I can tell you one of the Kildare players is Amy Larn, that's on the field of play. And between myself and Tommy, we'll work it out. Of course, it's unlimited substitutions in it. I think Roisin Ford is on as well. So they're the 2 players that are on. And we'll confirm the 2 off in a moment. And we're looking, Holly Tyrrell is definitely one of them anyway. And we'll just double check the other second player in a moment. And the second player is Lara Kern. And I'll ask you a question with Lara Kern in a moment, Tommy, but we'll watch this first, because out on the left hand side of the field is Nasa Dooley, that has some standout moments in the game so far. She hasn't got the scores that she wanted. Another kick at the post. The umpire nods the head, puts the ball over the bar. 2-10 to 5 points. And Nasa Dooley with the score, but it's just Lara Kern. She covered an awful lot of ground in this game.
Yeah, the modern day game, I suppose, where you see probably your half forwards won't last the whole game a lot of the time, and you'll see changes like that the whole time. But Lara has been excellent all day. She probably covered every blade of grass in the field, so not surprised to see her being taken off after that effort.
Yeah, I think definitely if we had the stats for the first half running here, Lara Kern would probably have covered it. Maybe be challenged by Grace Shannon as well for Longford. But either way, down the other end of the field as Lara Gilbert tries to take this ball for Kildare. Camille Burke is there for Longford. They really need to respond, Longford, and get a big score. There's some nice scores, but that big score so far, this might be one for Ciara Healy. And Ciara Healy, you heard Tommy in the background say great score, and it was a great score, Tommy.
Excellent by Ciara Healy. Yeah, Longford need more plays like that. They need to be taking the shots on. A lot of the time they're kind of second guessing themselves, getting themselves into trouble, but they really need to make sure that they're taking them shots. Otherwise they're going to fall into a trap where Kildare have set over the last few minutes, where they're getting turned over very easy.
2 points apiece in the second half so far. I don't know if the referee was ready for the kick out. We're having more substitutions, and I think we are. Kildare are starting to empty the bench here. We'll have a lot of this down the second half, especially with the gap in between the teams. So we'll keep an eye on these as best we can. We can tell you that Sarah Munley is going off for Kildare, and we'll work out to confirm.
Grania Keneally.
Grania Keneally is the player coming on, number 22. That is correct. I knew you'd be quicker on that than myself, Tommy, as well.
Been a Kildare man.
Look, speaking of Kildare, they've given the ball away. This is Clodagh Lohan, and Clodagh Lohan, another save from Anna Dunlea. We were joking about substitutions. We took our eye off the ball, and so did Kildare for a moment, as Ciara Healy won the kick out to give it to Clodagh Lohan. But Anna Dunlea coming to the rescue as well on that occasion. We've been very complimentary of both goalkeepers in this match.
Yeah. Probably Anna Dunlea probably made a mistake on the kick out, but then she made an unbelievable stop there, coming out off her line, which is kind of hard for a goalkeeper to do, where you'd be afraid that to be, I suppose, rounded, but that was excellent save. And she's only, like I said, she's only a new person into the panel for Kildare, and she's been excellent over the last. I've been really, really impressed against in the first day against Down, but in particular in this game as well. Her kickouts have usually gone to the right person, and that save was excellent. And on the flip side, like you said, the Longford goalkeeper Ruth Jones has made 2 great saves. It's a real exhibition of goalkeeping at the moment.
It has been indeed as well. Both young players, great confidence as well moving forward. Now Ruth Jones, of course, has plenty of experience for Longford too, but as Tommy said, Anna Dunne breaking into the Kildare setup this year. Kildare have brought some great goalkeepers over the years, and can she earn her keep over the course of the season? Well, Longford want to earn something out of this game, but they're not going to give it up just yet, as Grace Shannon takes possession down the right. The pass coming from Kena Lee. Lauren McGuire is involved in the action as well, sends the ball across the field as Grace Shannon to Emma Doris. Emma Doris back to Lauren McGuire, who started this move outside the D. Lauren's going to have a kick in the post, and you could just tell for a moment the goalkeeper wasn't too sure of it, and pressure was coming in, but she managed to just get a little touch to get it forward for Leisha Linehan on that occasion. And now Kildare bring it out to the 45-metre line, but Quiva McCormick has it back for Longford. Quiva McCormick out to the left, found a teammate, and that's coming in for Ciara Healy. Kildare thrown bodies on the ball, anything to break up the Longford momentum. It's done enough to Ruth Sargent. They have won the ball, and it'll be a free out for Kildare.
Yeah, plenty of action there. Longford getting a turnover and then turning back the ball, but it's been excellent so far. This second half has really been brought to life. Longford are really just pushing forward and trying to get a score on the board and try and get back into this game as much as possible. But I suppose Kildare are holding out with the few substitutions that they've made as well. They've kind of made an impact, I suppose, across Kildare's team.
Yeah, Longford have held off the substitution so far, just the one of note so far. But of course, as we've said before, don't go away, because one Longford goal could change everything. That being said, one Kildare big score could wrap this up. A kick in by Ellen Dowling. Didn't get the power on that. I think she was going for the shot. It dropped into the goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah, I think Emer O'Brien got a touch on it as well. She's actually been quite impressive as well.
Emer O'Brien working hard there for Longford. Started off the game as their centre back as well. Played the far side of the field. We played 11 minutes of the second half here of round 2 of the Lidl Ladies National Football League. Our coverage here from Vanguard Plus, Kildare GA Centre of Excellence, brought to you in association with Stream Sport Ireland. Kildare looking for their second victory in Division 3 this year, and looking good for it so far with a 10-point advantage. But they'll be needing another 10 minutes before they can safely say this game is in the bag. If you look at the way the Longford players are playing the ball, Grace Kenny, she was a minor vice captain in 2022 and shown good work here today as the ball comes out towards the right to Lauren McGuire. Lauren McGuire made her debut against Down in 2020, and she kicks the ball in towards the attack, and Longford get the break that they need. Wouldn't come from Clodagh Lohan on that occasion. We know she's well capable of getting goals. Kildare still have the ball inside the 45-metre line and give the foul away. Clodagh wants to take it quickly, gives it to Ciara Healy, and the first touch gets away. And you have to credit it with a Lauren Burke there getting back on that occasion, but they've given it away again. Ciara Healy probably just snatched on the shot. Nothing there for Longford.
Yeah, too many turnovers there for a few minutes, but yeah, Ciara Healy unfortunate with the attempt. It was actually the right option, I think. But Longford are really trying to press here and trying to get the turnovers that they need, but they really need to start making an impression in the game if they want to get anyway close to Kildare.
Kildare are getting ready another substitute as well, and I think that player is coming on in just a moment. It'll be their fifth or sixth of the game anyway. I might be mixing them up
right,
there.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Longford so far? Alan Mullen has been in no rush to make major changes. He's made the one change there at half-time with Kena Lee coming on the field to play, but I suppose he's trying to show faith in these players as well and tell them to forget about the first half and go out and play your best football.
Yeah, in fairness, they really came into it in the second half, or the last, I suppose the second half of the first half, if that makes sense. But yeah, they're kind of coming into the game a lot more, but like I said, given the Kildare, a team like Kildare such a head start, didn't really help them at the start. So I suppose Longford are a good footballing team, in particular their 2 midfielders, like I mentioned there previously. They've been excellent, but they really start to need making some impression on the scoreboard there.
Longford were All-Ireland Intermediate quarter-finalists last year, but it's Kildare in control through Gráinne Keneally. Gráinne Keneally also back in the Clare panel as well. Great to have her too. Roisin Byrne, we've talked about her already. Roisin looking for her first score in the second half. Getting into the hands there, and Longford haven't dealt with this, and Nasser Dooley's there to pounce. Nasser Dooley with a shot. The goalie makes a save on the line.
Great save.
It was a great save initially, but a great reaction too, because she hadn't the control on the ball and it took a couple of bounces. 3 big goal scoring opportunities for Kildare in the second half. And in fairness to Ruth Jones, she has to take the credit for making sure none of them went in.
Yeah, Ruth Jones, it's weird to say, but a goalkeeper can concede 2 goals, but being nearly player of the match at the moment, that was unbelievable again. Hit off the post, hit off her. I don't know if she knew much about it, but she got off the line anyway, and that's excellent goalkeeping. She's really given an exhibition here at shot stopping.
Yeah, her reaction as well. She didn't panic when she saw the ball bouncing, just got to deal with it and work out what to do. Down the other end now, Longford need to do something great. Shannon, that ball just getting away from us there as Camille Burke comes in the back of Alicia Lenihan. It's going to be a Kildare sideline ball. Another Kildare change getting ready, and Diana Hoare is making sure she looks at as many of her players as she can.
Yeah, like I said, the pre-season competition, like in the men's football, O'Byrne Cup and stuff like that, isn't really available or isn't available to the ladies footballers. So it's interesting to see the amount of changes, and it's a good idea by the LGFA actually to have so many substitutions to give everybody an opportunity to see what their players are like at such an elite level.
Spoken like a true footballer as well, Tommy. It doesn't make the commentating job any easy now, but we'll do our best to keep you up to date with all the substitutions as well. So apologies if we've missed any of them, but we'll try and have the right numbers. We can tell you Claire Sullivan is number 19, is on the field of play. I don't know if she was the sub that just came on that time, but
yeah,
Claire,
she is.
oh,
yeah,
Claire Sullivan, she came on for Lauren Burke, so that's the substitution there. Tommy, of course, is well on top of it there anyway. So on the Kildare side of things, we've been well covered anyway. Number 20 is Elaine Keogh. Elaine Keogh out towards the right as a player tries to weave their way inside for a chance for a shot. Cross the goal, and a great save from the defender in this occasion. She picked up a knock in the clearance at the moment. Hopefully she is okay. We'll keep an eye on that off camera, but Kildare have it back again. Gráinne Keneally very busy since she came on the field to play. Grace Clifford sends the ball in towards the attack. This is Roisin Ford. Didn't start the game to number 12, but she's on the field now. Roisin Ford with the kick, and that's came off the upright again, or the crossbar. That crossbar has been very busy in the Longford goal over the course of this game, and Longford bringing out towards the 45-metre line, but just beforehand there, Tommy, a shot coming in from the right, and this time it was a defender that made the stop for Longford.
Yeah, it's stop off the line. Like Longford are really under pressure. They're probably chancing their luck here a bit more than they should be, because Kildare are probably disappointed with their shot conversion rate at the moment. I suppose Diane will be probably not impressed with the amount of chances that they've had, and they haven't converted a lot of them.
Yeah, Alan Mullen could say the same thing about Longford too, because they've left a few chances behind but haven't got that big significant score that has made a difference in the game. Down the end again, and the host Alicia Lenihan has been in the way, and Trina Duggan in particular too in defence have covered that. Emma Doris, of course, sorry if you're just wondering there from Longford, we had a message in there who did the clearance for Longford. It was Emma Doris, who's done well even though she picked up a knock, and you'd have that concern too the third time, but she didn't need treatment on this occasion. Longford get a free the far side of the field. We're inside the final quarter here in round 2 of the Lidl Ladies National Football League. Kildare 2-10, Longford 6 points. Longford going to have a free. It's been brought in now for Lauren McGuire. And the question is, if you're Longford now, at what stage do you stick or twist, or do you give up the ghost in this game and just try and get the scoring difference down? That free is gone to the left and wide. We get the feeling now, Tommy, and I don't want to speak prematurely, that Longford are probably accepting their fate now and just try and get a few scores and make sure the scoring difference doesn't go against them.
Yeah, they probably need to get a bit of confidence out of the game. They can't be going away with, I think there's a woman down there now at the moment, but yeah, I don't know what happened. But yeah, Longford need to get a few scores on the board, because fortunately for them, it's not a great division to lose their first 2 games, or any league campaign. You can't be losing your first 2 games, even though they're away for Longford, the first 2 games were, but they really need to get a few scores on the board to make sure that their score difference is going to be affected by this, because the top 2 go through to the final, or top 4 go through into a semi-final, is it? And then the top 2...
No, just a final.
It's the final,
now,
sorry, apologies. Yeah, it was like that. They used to do that. So the top 2 go into a final, and if Longford want to get into Division 2 this year, they really need to make inroads here, getting their score difference a bit better.
Well, the player that was down there during that, just outside her own 20-metre line, was Nasa Dooley, who's done a lot of defensive work as well in this game, and Nasa, thankfully, is okay. A big contribution today, and of course she scored 2-3 against Offaly in the Leinster semi-final last year as well. Kildare on the move with about 12 minutes to go of normal time. The subs well involved. This is Elaine Keogh, the number 20. Elaine Keogh out to Roisin Ford. Roisin Ford always keeping an eye on the goal, gives it to Grace Clifford, the captain. Back to Gráinne Keneally. Gráinne Keneally with a kick forward, and Kildare found the space. Great vision from Gráinne Keneally to Elaine Keogh. Can she finish it off? The shot didn't happen for her there as well. But I have to say, like Gráinne Keneally, another player we haven't mentioned. We've talked about Trina Duggan, we've talked about Roisin Byrne. Gráinne Keneally back in the setup. She didn't step. What vision there to pick out the pass?
Yeah, Gráinne was away on I think she works at the Army. She was away on a tour of duty there last year, but really, really experienced player, and she's been excellent so far since she came in. A great pass.
Great pass it was on that occasion, and Kildare have taken the ball back again inside their own 65-metre line through Lara Gilbert. Lara Gilbert to Grace Clifford. Grace Clifford out to the right, finds a teammate, and it comes back for Trina Duggan. And Trina Duggan waiting for support, and it comes from Gráinne Keneally. And Gráinne Keneally on the 45-metre line, and Kildare again moving it quickly. Roisin Byrne. Will she get her third goal before this game finishes? She's holding on to the ball. She's picking out her teammates. Gráinne Keneally just went under her legs. And Longford will win the ball back inside their own 45-metre line, and they kick it forward in the direction of the number 11, Clodagh Lohan. And Clodagh Lohan up against Ruth Sargent. Clodagh coming through. Is this the moment now that Longford can get the big score? Clodagh Lohan, the bounce went away from her. Kildare defended very, very well in numbers. And good defending it was from Kildare. The support from Camille Burke didn't come in time. Hazel McLaughlin is there for Kildare, and they've won the free. And you have to say, Tommy, there, Clodagh Lohan was pushing down. She was trying to create the gap too, but Longford didn't have the support coming. Kildare, three defenders, great defending.
Yeah, they're great defending by Kildare, but they don't. Longford have dropped people back, but they don't get them up front quick enough for their attacking style. So they really need to work on that for the next few minutes anyway. But I think the fences are on top at the moment since the second half has begun. Really, both sets of forwards will probably be disappointed with their conversion rate.
Tommy, I have a question to ask you as well, just for our younger viewers here as well. We'll watch this Kildare attack first, and I'll ask you that question as well, because it might materialise something as Grace Clifford is coming inside. A player out to the right is Roisin Ford. Roisin Ford with the shot, decides to kick the ball over the bar. 9 minutes to go. It's 2-11 to 6 points. But Tommy, the question I was going to ask you, how important is it the off the ball tracking? I think a lot of young players can never fully comprehend that, as you said there as well. When Longford are pushing back, they're not pushing forward quick enough, and likewise we often see teams get caught out when their players don't track back quickly.
Yeah, and you can see it even there. Roisin was free in acres of space, and if you don't follow the runner, there's an opportunity of an overlap, and if an overlap comes, there's definitely goals come from that. Roisin couldn't, like that last play is a prime example. Roisin stuck out to the wing. It looked like she wasn't going to be involved in the play and came off the shoulder, and that's really, really important when you're going attacking. When you're defending, it's very, very important that you don't lose sight of any player, especially inside the 45, and you kind of look and you see the D in particular in around the D, the scoring zone. If you get a runner into the scoring zone, it's more than likely going to end up in at least a point, but if you get a runner off the shoulder, it could be a goal very, very easily.
And you've seen sometimes in this game as well, especially on the Kildare attacking side, how gaps have opened up as well. We're having a hold up play here. There's a Longford player on the ground receiving attention. I'm just wondering, is it Emma Doris again? And if it is, I'm not 100% certain. They will confirm the identity in a moment.
I think it is Emma.
It is Emma Doris, yeah, the number 4. We were just told on our ear there as well. And she's worked hard for Longford in this game, but she's been through the mill an awful lot.
Yeah, she's putting her body on the line, and it won't be her fault if they lose there today.
It won't be, certainly indeed. And of course, she was the player that cleared the ball off the line a few minutes ago. With just over 8 minutes remaining in this game, Kildare 2-11, Longford 6 points. That's 17 points to 6 in anyone's language. The number 14 for Longford is Camille Burke. She's the player on the ball with the white boots. And the referee says she took too many steps on that occasion, and it's going to be a free out for Kildare on their 13-metre line. And Trina Duggan is going to send it back towards the goalkeeper, Anna Dunlea. And Anna just spotting a few blue jerseys near her, so says let's get it away very, very quickly. Let someone else deal with this. I think it's Claire Sullivan, the player that's dealing with it, and gives it to Hazel McLaughlin. And Hazel McLaughlin with a hand pass forward to the number 4 for Kildare, which is Lara Gilbert. And Lara Gilbert to Roisin Ford. Roisin Ford certainly wants to make an impression in this game after not starting, even though she wears the number 12 jersey. Emma Doris wins it back for Longford and gives the ball across to Grace Shannon. And Grace Shannon will bring it up towards the 65-metre line. And the referee, I'm not too sure what he's blown the whistle for now occasion. Longford have brought on a substitution, by the way. Emily McCarthy is on the field. I didn't quite see who's gone off, but Emily McCarthy, their number 21, is on the field to play. So we'll watch the attack here for Longford as Grace Shannon sends it inside. And I think it was Leisha Lenihan there as well. And I suppose, Tommy, I haven't mentioned Leisha Lenihan enough in this game because she's broken down an awful lot of attacks.
Yeah, she's been excellent. She's another person putting her hand up for player of the match there today. She's been absolutely excellent. She's getting in front of her player and really setting up the play for Kildare.
Roisin Byrne gives it across to Grace Clifford. Trina Duggan's going out. Well, I thought she was having a shot, was trying to send it inside. Caoimhe McCormick, the player that got in the way for Longford. This is is Emily Riley on the ball, gives it to Emer O'Brien, and Emer O'Brien gets past the 20-metre line and will bring it up the field in play. 6.5 minutes to go. Kildare on their way to a second victory in the Little Ladies National Football League. Longford on their way to a second defeat. It's a bit premature to be talking about it going into a relegation battle, but certainly if they lose one more game after today, hopes of playing in the league final will definitely be gone, while Kildare will be among the favourites now in a very, very competitive division. Grace Clifford with the ball, moving down towards the 45-metre line, sends the pass across with the ball bounced nicely for Nasa Dooley. It did. Can she get count? And she probably just hit that a bit harder than she needed to. I think it's fair to say the ball goes to the right and wide.
Yeah, great ball by Grace Clifford, but Nessa did excellent there, waiting on the bounce to hop over. I think it was Emer O'Brien, and just unfortunate for Nessa not to pull over the bar. She, again, a lot of the forwards will be disappointed with their play here at the moment in terms of conversion. I think Kildare have had ample opportunities to actually get a score here, but they've really struggled in the second half to get their scores. And credit due to Longford's full backline and half backline. They've actually been quite tight on them as well.
Yeah, Diana Horror, something for her to work on for the next day. We can tell you Longford have made a substitution. Camille Burke has gone off. I'll confirm the identity of the player that has come on in just a moment. At 22, we're told, is Casey McNamara. And that's the player that has come on the field to play for Longford. We thank our cameraman Dermot Flaherty for the information as Caoimhe McCormick gives the ball to Caoimhe Lohan, and Longford trying to bring the ball out, but Gráinne Keneally reads it well. Gráinne Keneally with the pass down for Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne is a player to the left. That's the way she should have gone. She went for it in the end, but left it a bit late. It might work out yet. Roisin Ford to go for the shot herself, and it goes to the left and wide. Kildare supporters, you can hear the groan there. They want to see another goal. I think it's fair to say Roisin Byrne should have sent that to the left sooner than she did.
I don't know if she's seen Roisin Ford on the left-hand side, because she tried to get it there probably too late at that time. But yeah, excellent opportunity for Roisin Ford to really cement her place in the starting 15 for the next day. But unfortunately, I think she'd be disappointed with that one.
She'd be disappointed with that one, and one goes a begging too, but they have the two from Roisin Byrne in the first half, and Kildare are on the move again. Amy Larn with the ball gives it off to a teammate, and that's outside the 20-metre line. Back to Amy, she wears 17. This is out to Hazel McLaughlin, and I don't know if they got a touch there or just miskicked, but Hazel McLaughlin had to run to get possession. Gives it to Roisin Ford. Support is coming up. Grace Clifford to Gráinne Keneally. Looks like a move off the training ground. Can they finish it off with Roisin Byrne? Roisin Byrne looking for a bit of space. She's been given the space and goes for the rugby style kick out to the left to Hazel McLaughlin. Hazel McLaughlin will go for a shot at the post. Is that going to come in? That ball comes in. That ball goes over the bar. Hazel McLaughlin deserved the score.
Yeah, she definitely deserves a score for today. She's been up and down the pitch all day long, but that was an excellent ball by Roisin Byrne again. Great vision to spot Hazel McLaughlin out in the wing, and Kildare are really good at actually keeping her width, where Longford are getting a lot of people back, but they're not getting a lot of contact on because the width is so good for Kildare. It's making it very, very difficult for the Longford defence.
Yeah, it's 2-12 to 6 points to Kildare. We can tell you a change there. Trina Duggan has gone off the field of playing. Looks like Molly O'Loughlin, number 28, is on for Dim. Tommy, I get you to be thinking about your player of the match contenders and your overall player of the match, and I'll ask you about that in just a couple of moments. We'll watch this Kildare attack first and see if anybody can put themselves in contention for that award. Well, Kildare do get the score. It's 2-13 as Amy Larn is the player that got it on that occasion. She puts it over the bar. 3 minutes to go, 2-13 to 6 points.
Yeah, Amy Larn, great young player coming on as well from the minor panels from the past there in the last couple of years with Kildare. That was a great score in the end.
Kildare stretching it out there. They've got the last 3 scores. Longford have not scored since the 38th minute. That's 20 minutes ago. And they'll really, really be disappointed because they showed signs there. And they have to give the ball away and mix up. And surely this is going to be finished off the shot goal. Ciara Price with that goal for Kildare. Game, set and match. 3-13 to 6 points.
Yeah, she's making a habit of this because last week against Down she got a goal when she came on, and now she's getting another goal. It was an excellent defence. Her, suppose, defending more than anything, trying to get her contact on up the pitch and trying to stake a claim for her place the next day. But that was excellent. She got on the ball and no mistake.
And Ciara Price only made her debut for Kildare in that game against Down last week. So 2 games with Kildare, 2 goals. Roisin Byrne with the shot puts it over the bar. It's now 3-14 to 6 points. Kildare finishing with a flourish.
Yeah, they're quite impressive here now at the moment. They were kind of going out of the game there a small bit. Their forwards were missing easy chances, but now the last few minutes they've really been impressive, tipping on a few scores and really cementing in place as probably contenders for the Division 3 title.
Oh, they're definitely going to be in the conversation so far. 4 scores in 2 minutes as Granda Keneally sends a ball down inside, and it's dealt with the Longford defence on this occasion. Some supporters are leaving the venue here. They've seen enough of this game as Emer O'Brien, the centre back for Longford, holds onto the ball and gives it out towards Hannock Denon. We'll watch this bit of play first, and then we get Tommy's thoughts on the players that impressed him and the overall player of the match. Nasser Dooley is coming inside, goes for a shot across the goal, and that's gone over the bar. And that's a great corner down there for getting big scores. Nasser Dooley with a point there. 3-15 to 6 points. We'll keep an eye on the play. But Tommy, let's look at the players that impressed you for both teams and your overall player of the match.
I suppose on both teams, I suppose Ruth Jones was excellent in the Longford goal. I think they could have conceded 3 or 4 more goals without her in nets. Grace Shannon and Cueva Lone as well in Longford were quite good, in particular in the first half. But they've really struggled, I suppose, in the second half.
I'm just going to cut you there, Tommy, for a second, because Kildare have overturned the ball. Roisin Byrne, and she comes off the grass bar. It's batted down to Kieran Price. Has got another goal. The referee might just check for a square ball there. I'm not too sure. He seems to be happy enough with it, but we had to cut you there for a moment because Grace Clifford overturned the ball first, and it's Kira Price. 2 games for Kildare, 3 goals. She hasn't started yet. What a story. We'll keep an eye on the action. Tommy, back to the players that impressed you.
Not a bad start for Kira Price's Kildare career. On the flip side, Kildare in terms of player of the game, Leisha Lennon has been excellent in the full back line, in particular when the ball has been delivered in. Also, I'd say Ruth Sargent has been very, very good. Roisin Byrne and Nessa Dooley over the last 2 games have been very, very impressive. Very, very impressive over the last 2 games. They've been the main scorers for Kildare, as well as Hazel McLaughlin, who's, like I said earlier, has covered every blade of grass in Hawkville today.
And Tommy, your overall player of the match?
I would probably, Roisin's going to be wondering, I've given it to her last week and this week, so just with the amount of scores that she's actually after getting, I suppose you have to give it to Roisin Byrne again. I think she's after coming away with 2-3, 2-4.
Yeah, big tally for Roisin Byrne as well. She is our player of the match and came very, very close to her hat-trick there. You might have seen on screen there, Lauren Maguire for the challenge for Longford has received a yellow card. So Longford are going to finish this game with 14 players now because we are in injury time. I think it was Claire Sullivan, the player that was on the ground, but thankfully she is fit and okay to continue. Lauren Maguire goes off the field to play. Kildare have 4 goals, 2 goals there, both coming from Kira Price, and they look like they want another. Nasa Dooley sent it inside. Roisin forward, and she probably just paused there and allowed Ruth Jones to come out to take the ball, and Cueva McCormick takes possession, and Longford trying to work it out the field of play. There has been a couple of stops in this half, a lot of substitutions, so we might get 3 or 4 minutes of that at a time. We've played nearly 1. Longford are making a change as well, and the referee rightly holding up the play to allow the substitute to come on. And we'll confirm the identity of the substitution in a moment. It looks like that Kira Healy is going off. I think another player thought she was going off first, but it's Kira Healy that's actually leaving the field to play.
Sorry, Darren, again, just Ruth Jones. Longford could really have conceded 4 or 5 goals here if it wasn't for Ruth Jones. That's another unbelievable piece of goalkeeping coming off her line. A bit of confidence behind that as well. You'd know she's after stopping 2 or 3 saves there, so she's very, very close to getting woman of the match as well, which would have been strange enough for conceding 4 goals, but there could have been another 4 on top of that.
Well, she's definitely, I think, cemented her championship place going forward anyway this year as well with her performance in this game. She's been very, very busy, it has to be said, and a lot for Alan Mullen and his team to look at there as well. Kildare really dressing up the scoreboard. Longford left a few chances behind them, as I think it was Edel Sheehy, the number 18 for Longford, to come on the field to play for them there in that last substitute. Clodagh Lohan is moving inside the 45-metre line. Can she hold on to the ball? And Kildare still defending like this game is alive. A good touch by Molly O'Loughlin to give it to Claire Sullivan, and now it's Kildare bringing the ball out the field. A bit of carelessness there, and it's Grace Shannon that wins the ball back on the 45-metre line, trying to get away from Leisha Linehan, and Leisha Linehan does very, very well to win the ball back for Kildare, sending it out the far side of the field. 2.5 minutes of injury time has been played, and Kildare looking for more scores to finish this game off. Of course, these players coming on the field to play, they want a starting jersey the next day. They want to prove that they should be part of the Kildare team going forward. Kira Price was involved in the action, but it's the main players down the far side, Byrne and Dooley. Dooley gives the pass off for an advancing player, which was Amy Larn, but it'll be back now for Kildare inside the 40 45-metre line as they try and move in, and the bounce just getting away from Nasa Dooley in that occasion, so she decides to send it back to Gráinne Keneally. And now the 3 minutes of added time have been played here. Kildare 4-15, Longford 6 points. And a bounce on a few occasions today, the ground holding up very, very well, but the bounce on a few occasions not working out. Roisin Byrne, the player of the match, with the kick, puts the ball over the bar. Another score for Kildare. Roisin Byrne builds on her impressive tally, and it's 4-16 to 6 points.
Yeah, excellent score by Roisin again, like you said, our player of the match, and that's probably the reason she's getting the scores. Anytime Kildare have needed a score, she's gotten them in the first few minutes. You can see that she got 2 goals in the first half, which were vitally important to setting Kildare on their way.
It's 2-4 in this game for Roisin Byrne. 3-9 over 2 games. Kildare's top scorers. The referee blows the final whistle. It's all over here, and comfortable on the scoreboard that it was. Kildare were asked a few questions at times, but a good start for them. They've won this game 4-16 to 6 points. Tommy, your overall impressions of the match?
Yeah, Kildare were very, very strong again. I suppose they've been strong in the last 2 games. In particular, like Leisha Lenihan in the full backline has been excellent, really kind of commanding the square there, and it's very, very important to have a good setup in defence before you can go up front. But when you look up front, they've been absolutely electric. Roisin Byrne, Nessa Dooley, Ellen Dowling, Holly Turl, who went off. Even the people coming on were getting on scores there, and in particular I think Ciara Price definitely is putting her hand up for a starting place the next day. She came on, and I think she's only had 20-30 minutes of football, and she scored 3 goals, which is so impressive. Just on the flip side, I suppose, for Longford have to go back to the drawing board. They've been, I suppose, disappointed in their result there today, in the first 2 results. They don't want to be, they really need to get a win the next day, because otherwise they'll be looking down the table and they'll be in a relegation dogfight. But in particular, I'd say Emma Doris was excellent. Ruth Jones, like we mentioned there previously, and the 2 girls in the middle of the field were very, very good. But attackingly, they really have to work on their attack of setup. They've been I think they only came away with 6 points, and even in the first game they came away with I don't know 1-8, 1-9. Yeah, 1-8 in the first game. So probably looking forward, that's where they need to work on. They're great at getting bodies back, and they've been putting on a lot of contact on the ball, but it's probably the turnovers that are killing them, because they're not getting bodies forward as well as quick as they're getting back. So they really need to work on their attack and play over the next couple of weeks for the next game anyway, because like I said, they don't want to be looking down the table. They need to win the next game. They don't want to be in a relegation dogfight.
And I was just going to come to that question as well, because Alan Mullen, like we're talking here about their lack of shooting, but the top players, their performance were defenders or goalkeepers as well. It's a must-win game next Sunday against Offaly. If they don't win that game, they're going to be in a relegation fight for the remainder of the season. What can Alan Mullen and his management team do with this squad over the next 7 days? If they did a week off, it would be one thing, but 7 days is a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. Not much. They have to recover after this game, first of all. That's very, very important. But in particular, they probably need to work on their setup, their attack of setup, like I said. Keeping people like Laura Maguire close to the goal. And I'd even move in I think they did it in the second half. Now, they didn't kick the ball enough probably into her, but Quiva Lone was moved in full forward. And when you have such a taller girl in full forward, you need to deliver the ball, and probably Longford struggled on that. They didn't kick the ball enough. They tried to work it up the pitch, but they didn't have a link player on that 45 when they had so many players back. So that attacking structure over the next couple of weeks for Longford are going to be really, over the next couple of days actually, for Longford is going to be really important for themselves. But Kildare have really, really cemented themselves as a top team in this division at the moment. They've been very, very impressive. Like I said, Roisin Byrne, Nessa Dooley, Leisha Lenihan in particular, and even a few new players that they brought in. Holly Turl coming in, new player. Anna Dunley pulled off a great save, and her kickouts were very, very good. So they're coming really strong here in the starting point of the league, and they'll be looking up the table, where Longford, like we said, the next day is going to be really, really important. The plus side for Longford, I suppose, they have a home game the next day, which is going to be extremely important. They win all their home games left. Kildare have 2 home games played. I think they play Clare away next. That's going to be a really, really big one. I'm not too sure of the result of Clare, but Clare would have really fancied themselves as one of the teams to beat in this division. So I think Wexford might have got over the line there, but it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in this Division 3. And Kildare in particular will probably be wanting to get out of Division 3. They've been here for, I suppose, 8-9 years at this stage.
Yeah, and moving up to divisions is difficult too. We just zone in Kildare here first, and I'll try and get that score before we finish our transmission. Diana Hoare will be talking to her players there now and trying to settle them down. When she talks to local media afterwards, like a plus 19 scoring difference, 2 wins out of 2. They've looked very, very good. They have scored, is it seven goals so far and 29 points. You know, what message will she be getting out there? Because she'll be very, very aware too. There's only 2 games gone.
Yeah, probably the biggest message is not to get too big for their boots. Kildare, like you said earlier on, last year they were in a similar enough situation. And when push came to shove, they didn't really push on, in particular in the All-Ireland series. So definitely, I suppose, one of the bigger things Diane will be saying is to relax, get back to basics again. Whatever they've been doing on the training pitch over the last 2 weeks, in particular their attacking play has been obviously working, and they'll get them back in on training, get their recovery tonight obviously and tomorrow, but get back in on training on the pitch there probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they'll be looking forward to the next game as well. Like Clare have been, for Kildare have been a top team over the last number of years. Players like Niamh O'D and players like that knocking around the Clare setup. They're going to be baying for blood looking at Kildare, especially if they lost today. So that's going to be probably the main message Diane will have to say to her players, not to get too big for their boots. Concentrate on the basics that's gotten them the first 2 wins. But an away game that's going to be, I'd suggest that's going to probably be one of the ties of the round in this league.
Well, they're definitely 2 promotion contenders as well, and Clare have actually been beaten and finished 3-9 to 2-3 to Wexford. Only 1 or 2 Wexford scores in the second half, none for Clare. They'll be disappointed with that. They'll work on that next week. Tommy, final question before we wrap up, putting your Kildare cap on as well. You've seen them twice now. I know you were in commentary last week as well for the game against Down. Look, with all due respect to Down and Longford here today, there's going to be tougher tests ahead. We've touched on Clare already, but Kildare have flirted to see before. I think it's a fair point to say as an outsider looking in. What you've seen so far, what way are you seeing 2023 shaping up?
Yeah, look again, like you said, I suppose Down have been applying their trade down in the junior football this year, and Longford will be very, very disappointed with that display today. But Kildare have been very, very strong. Their attacking play, and actually Diane really has them a kicking team as much as probably other years. They've been a lot of hand passing, getting turned over. They have flattered to deceive previously. I would say Kildare have been probably a sleeping giant a small bit since they got relegated from senior football. It's actually been quite disappointed, a few of their results, in particular last year. I think a lot of people around the county would have suggested that after they won the Leinster Championship, they would have suggested that Kildare could go on to an All-Ireland and bigger and better things. But look, they've been very, very impressive over the last 2 games. But again, there's bigger tests on the horizon. Like I said, Clare, Louth seem to be going very well, and Wexford there today with a big win over Clare as well. So they're the types of teams that you really, really get to see what Kildare are made of, and these new players, and see what the Diane setup is really like. Because no disrespect to Longford or Down, they're probably at different levels at the moment. In particular, Down probably a rebuilding process there, and probably similar enough for Longford. And Longford were missing 1 or 2 of their main players in today's game, in particular Leanne Keegan, who's their captain, probably one of their strongholds there over the last number of years. So so Kildare, they've been good, but remains to be seen, I suppose.
Remains to be seen. I think that's the fair way as both teams leave the field of play. And that was the voice of our co-commentator, ex-Kildare footballer Tommy Mulligan. We thank for joining us here in the commentary box today. For Longford, a disappointing second defeat in Division 3 of the National League for Kildare, where they're looking up at the moment. If they can get another result next week against Clare, then maybe they can start dreaming of a first ever Division 3 title. We'd like to thank Tommy Mulligan again for joining myself, Darren Kelly in the commentary box, and to our cameraman Dermot Flaherty. This game was brought to you in association with Stream Sport Ireland. But remember, all the games not live on TG Car will be here on the LGFA streaming service, including those games next week: Clare against Kildare and Longford against Offaly. It's all over here, but it's the home side with 2 wins, the second big victory in this campaign, and they've won this game by 22 points in the end. We say thank you very much for joining us. The final score here in round 2 of the Lidl Ladies National Football League: Kildare the winners, and a finish Kildare 4-16, Longford 6 points.